This time I'm gonna say the intro because people really wanted me to, even though there's nobody there. Hello Moonwatchers, welcome to the stream. We'll probably keep this one short, but I just felt like having at least a little bit of stream time. Let me just send out the notifications so people know I'm streaming, and then we'll start. Feels kind of weird to advertise, but yeah. Otherwise, how will people know? Let's see. Let's get this show on the road, shall we? It's always difficult to figure out exactly how to sit, because my mic's in the way. So sorry for any kind of weird shuffling noises. It's just me trying to sit in a way that I won't have a lot of pain in after the fact. Yeah, close enough. My computer seems to be having a bit of a hard time. Fans are already kicking on. will change. Might have to stop recording. We'll see. See. Let's work on this artwork. I hope the sound of my computer fans going isn't being picked up. Oh, hi Chi. A shady raid. Sure. It's a lot of. Oh, that's sweet of him. I'm not sure what I do, but I guess it'd be fun. I mean, in a way, I know everyone. Yeah, if they're up for some chill vibes and don't mind me having no clue what to do, I guess you can go right ahead. Hi guys, thank you for the raid, that's really sweet. Like, welcome to the stream. How do you talent? Don't go flustering. No, there's way too many people to get me flustered. Hey Mango, this time you're able to catch a stream. Hi everyone, good to have you here. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, just chill vibes whilst I draw. So sit back, relax, and have fun, hopefully. Good to have you all here. How was the end of the stream? Sorry I jumped out there at the end. I was actually planning on streaming way earlier, but I had a lot of fun, so I was like, I can't leave yet. And then at the end I was like, well, shoot, I was gonna stream 2 hours earlier. Yeah, it was just too fun. So many follows, I can't keep up with that. Thank you guys, you really don't have to. I really appreciate it. Hello. Iris, Nats, Luca, so many people. Thank you. And oh, thanks. I'm glad I was along too. I really enjoy the streams. It's very fun. I would draw stream art on stream. The thing is that people could hear what I'm hearing, so... Oh, I am drawing a gem. So let me just... This is how far I am right now. And this is the reference I'm using. And this is something I rendered myself. These are the blueprints. So the matte of the blueprints and the cutting, I do that in a special program, technically meant for people that actually cut gems for a job. But I was like, you know what? I have spent way too much time looking up how gems are being cut. I can use this to make my own gems and references. So I did. Thank you. Yeah, thanks guys. I'm glad you guys like it already. And hey, for those that were here before, I finally figured out music. Look at that. Yeah, let's hope my computer does not die on me, because the fans have immediately kicked on the moment I started streaming. It doesn't really like me recording streams. I might have to stop doing that, but... Hey Bart! It's late, so I'm gonna head out and have fun making good art. Yeah, it's really late for you. Have a good night. Take care. I left to get food and then come back to my worst rifle. Listen, winning from me timed whilst I haven't had chance to go to the toilet is cheating. Give me no time limit and I'll win. I'll assure you. I'm kidding, I'm not that confident. But I would prefer a non-timed match. The way you make the little chromatic distortions into, you take the little chromatic distortions into account is so insane to me. Well, usually you'd go from big to small detail-wise. That makes more sense. But seeing as I've already rendered this gem, it's I'm kind of working in reverse, just going immediately into the details before doing the big sweeping ones. Fine, next time we play chess I'll make it untimed, make your demise take longer. Yeah, but don't forget the first time we played I won, so Don't get too confident. Or maybe do, then you'll make more mistakes. But yeah, in this case, I'm working from small to big, so after I've done all of the facets, I'm planning on... Yeah, don't forget, first time we played was almost a draw. That's true. I don't play chess anymore on a regular basis. I'm not very good anymore. Yeah, after I'm doing all the little details, I plan on looking at the piece as a whole and start adding reflections and other more sweeping like details, like the large facets themselves would have light reflection on them, but the render doesn't take that into account because it's just meant to render the gem and the internal reflections. So gem cutters can use that as a guide on how will their gem turn out, which is more than enough for them, but not enough if I'm wonderful on drawing, so I'd have to add that in after the fact. Yeah, the other way you'd add like little chromatic abbreviation is, or when you you'd just have a plane and use effects to, like layer effects to create it, which works fine, but it'd be even more difficult to recreate what I want with layer effects, like the exact colors. I have to go now, but I will come by again. Good night, everyone. Have a good sleep, and hope to see you next time. Hope you had a good chill time, and for anyone that has to go because it's very late for most of you, don't feel obliged to stay. I'd much rather you guys get some good sleep. It's fun to have you all popping by, but it is very late, so do get some rest if you need. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense to create chromatic aberration. Jeez, speaking. With layer effects, if I already know exactly which colors I want, which would be quite difficult to get exact. So, seeing as I already know how I want it to look, I might as well just go in and put the right colors in by hand instead of trying to recreate it. Besides, trying to recreate chromatic aberration with so many separate like little facets would be a hassle anyways. Oh thanks, because yeah, big day tomorrow. I just couldn't help but watch Shady play, like probably my new favorite game to see. So see you, Luna. Yeah. Go get some good night sleep and hopefully see you next time. It is really fun to watch Shady, so I get that. So yeah, it's fun to have you here. want to do that. I remember taking an art class in the last 2 years of school, and I just didn't learn. I have no visual or artistic capabilities. Well, let you tell me this. When I was in high school, and the first 3 years, when you the Dutch education system is a bit different, but the first 3 years you're basically in the lower grade, and the 3 years after you're in the higher grade. If you're in VWO, we have different levels of difficulty and they take different amounts of time. But in the first 3 years you often have a bunch of mandatory classes, amongst which is art. Technically you cannot fail art, you can't be held back on art even if you do poorly, and you can't really get a failing grade in art unless you just don't do the work. Like if you screw up, if you're bad at it, then it's like, well, we still have to give you a positive grade because you did it. But when you, at some point you get to choose which classes you keep, and then they can give you an advice if they think you should stay. And art was one of the few that gave me a negative advice. It's like, yeah, don't continue this. You're not good. The other two that did that and gave me just a maybe advice, even though they really should have given me probably not advice, were French and German, both which I failed at miserably. So yeah, don't use school art classes as a definitive measure of your artistic capabilities. I mean, I was bad at the time, I wasn't good at it. I don't do well when having to quickly make things, and that's part of how it worked in school. You got an assignment and you had to make it in a certain amount of allotted time, and I wasn't able to always be present for all of the classes due to external reasons, and I easily fell behind, and I was also insecure. I still am insecure, but I just need a lot more guidance. I need a lot more, like, I often had questions like, is this what you want me to do? But the teachers had no patience for that, so I often didn't get an answer, which meant I was, well, very slow and often didn't get things done in time. So that's why I got a negative advice to continue it, which, I mean, kind of hurt, because even though I was aware I wasn't good at art, I wasn't good at art at all through most of my school days. Like, I wasn't good at art in middle school nor in high school. I only started getting good or started getting better after like later in high school, when I practiced on my own at home. But yeah, I still wanted to be good, so it wasn't like, did hurt my feelings. It's like, oh man, it made me even more insecure about my art, because it was like, well, I want to be able to do this, and it seems I am very bad at this thing. So yeah, but doing something in school and doing it outside of school makes a huge difference. So I really wouldn't let that hold you back if that's what makes you think, hey, maybe I'm not cut out for this. School's dumb. Don't listen to it. There's a whole lot that you can learn outside of school. It might just not suit you the way it's being taught. Doesn't mean the thing that you want to do, that you're bad at it. Just means that the way they are trying to teach you doesn't suit you. I think that's the case with a lot of things we have to learn in school, at least for me. Like French and German, I sucked at it. I don't think I'll ever have a good feeling for languages. but I think I would have gotten much better results and retained much more information if the pressure to perform wasn't so high. Which sounds strange, but it's just, it was like, yeah, I'm gonna tell you things about this, and you don't have the pressure to retain this information and be graded on it. I think I would have actually done better. Because now whenever I see things in German and French or learn things about it, it's like, oh neat, it's cool. I never disliked learning and disliked tests. It's this weird freaking shape, this thing. Let me just... Alright, best rival, I'm head out, have fun with the art, and link LMK when you get affiliate so I can throw money at you. Oh, let me know. Abbreviations, one day I'll get better at them. I will. I don't need you to throw money at me though. I wouldn't know what to do with money. Like, I'm just fumbling about, rambling whilst I draw stuff. I don't need to throw money at you. Yeah, there are a lot of things we don't need. Yeah. I think the reason I'm like, wait, no, don't throw your money at me is because I don't feel like I'm at that level that what I'm doing should be compensated. Also, whenever money is involved, it's like, well, now I really do have to, like, perform well. Like, I have to deliver because, well, people are freaking giving me money. I better give something good in return. That's why I don't think commissions for art are something that suits me. I tried. I was a nervous wreck. Oh well. Look, Shady and Mango had to put their stern parent voice on last time I tried to give the song to someone, so you're getting money. Ah, oh, frick, I don't have a stern parent voice yet. Shoot, how am I going to stop you now? Am I going to need to ask Shady or Mango to come save me? Help, they're giving me money, what do I do? I did yell at them. So that's the trick. I don't think that suits me though. I don't think I have the voice for that. Or the... Like, I don't think anyone would believe me when I try and be stern. They yelled at me and now I have 3 commissions on the back burner. Oh dear. Now, the only time I can be stern is when sending people to bed, because we all need sleep. I'm the worst streamer. I'm telling people to just leave the stream and go to bed. Viewer retention, what's that? So I am yell at you, take your money, you talented individual. Well, okay, but consider this. I don't think I'm that talented. No, I really do appreciate the support. I, like, just... No one thinks they're talented because we all have depression. Yeah, I mean, we all at least have a very strong case of imposter syndrome, it seems. I'm not really happy with the emotional support. Like, just the, hey, I think you're cool, and I think you're neat, and that's enough for me. I already, that's more than I expected. It seems like a small thing, but it means a lot to hear that, to hear people go, yeah, you know, we dig what you do, and we enjoy it. That makes me happy, that's enough. I'm not very demanding as an individual. As long as I can do stuff that people enjoy and makes them happy, and I think that's enough for me. I suppose in the grand scheme of things, have a living is good too. It's convenient to have money, but just like if that wasn't a concern, then I would be more than happy to just... Guess what, you're getting support now, I swear. Bart getting fed up with this. No, I don't need your support, or I don't feel like I should get your support stuff. Like, no, take the freaking money. You've done this a bunch, haven't you? Yeah, I don't think I'll get affiliated anytime soon. 10 gift subs day 1 of affiliate. Write it down. Don't. For one, that's assuming I'll get there, which I think is a big thing to assume. Like, I didn't assume anyone would watch at all, and look how many people are here now. So I guess that says more about how my assumptions are incorrect, but regardless of that, if I ever get to affiliate, then 10 gift subs day 1 is like... it'd be cool, but also don't. I will. Alright, but for now, for real night everyone, yeah, go get yourself some rest. You deserve it, you wonderful being. I don't know how long I can keep streaming, by the way, because it's near lunchtime. I intended to start a lot earlier, but Shady's stream was very fun, so I kind of delayed it. I might need a lunch break. Or I guess I could just temporarily stop drawing and quickly shove some food in my mouth whilst I half chat with you guys. We can try that too. Something correct, but I know it's not saying right. This song is sweet. Let's hope I did the muting there correctly. You didn't all hear my conversation. That's a slightly sharper angle. So. Here I am saying it doesn't have to be exact, trying to get it exact. This is a way sharper angle.
Talking about the girl you met, and I'm really trying to forget. I'm telling you I'm fine, but I'm just a mess, and I don't wanna give up, not yet. I know this is over, but I'm not over you. I just can't believe what you say is true. I'm sick of you lying behind my back. Is this how you ended after all? I hope she was worth it. I hope she's perfect. I hope she's everything that I couldn't be. I hope she makes you smile more. I hope she's what you asked for. I hope she's everything that I couldn't be. You've been talking about the girl you met, and I'm really trying to forget. I'm telling you I'm fine, but I'm just a mess, and I don't wanna give up, not yet. I'm sick of everyone and everything. I'm sick of everyone and everything. I'm sick of everyone and everything.
Doesn't let me fill in a small area selection.
I hope she was worth it. I hope she's perfect. I hope she's everything that I couldn't be. I hope she makes you smile more. I hope she's what you asked for. I hope she's everything that I couldn't be. Everything that I couldn't be. Everything that I couldn't be.
Might have to open the window a little bit. It's quite warm here. I just don't really want the sound from outside. My computer is also starting to be like, hey, it's a little toasty in here. We'll do that in a moment or so. Okay, one moment. It's gonna open the window. Okay, the window is open. Let's hope now the birds decide to behave and not be very loud literally in front of my window. I think we should copy this part first to reference. It's easier to do it just one bit at a time, so I can have it right next to what I'm trying to draw. Especially if you tend to go, like if you are intending to make something fairly detailed, just having it right next to what you're drawing is a lot easier. I'll draw this very edge curve later on, so it doesn't have to be precise. Like I'm gonna likely overlay this to the other facets, that's why I haven't been exactly the edges, but I might as well try and trim it a little bit, not make it completely inaccurate. By the way, if any of you have any questions, feel free to ask, like about art. Other questions I probably can't answer, but I like talking about art. Hey, maybe I'm able to help answer some stuff. Though, no guarantees on if any of my advice would be good advice. I'm just a hobbyist. It's a strange shape again. Just do it like so. And then cut in the other shapes. You're working with a pixelated references that you can't really see the details, but this was as high a render as I could get out of the program. And it's not actually. How long would these usually take to complete? The very detailed gem drawings, definitely quite a few hours, like actual hours worked on, I think would quickly rise to 10-12 hours at least, sometimes even longer. It really depends on how detailed I'm going to go, and in this case I'm going quite detailed. So I think last stream was 2.5 hours. I started this outside of the stream, so I'm not sure how many hours I put in then, but you could technically sort of see how much time it takes. Yeah, I'm quite a slow worker. I like taking my time, and yeah, gems and anything that I do that's photorealistic or semi-realism usually takes quite a while, because I do try and get in all the important details. It's a patience game. Yeah. Patience is important with art. I mean, it does depend on what you do, like what style you work in and what kind of art you like creating, and also just the personal speed you have. Some people are incredibly fast and create really good works in a short amount of time, and I find that very impressive. Of course, they have practiced to be able to do that. It's all a matter of, practice in the end. I can't do that. That is beyond my capabilities. Yeah, they probably started young. Not necessarily. It's just you can do art exercises that are specifically to create like speed, to basically become confident enough in your lines that you just put them down and go with it. And when you do that a lot, well, you'll have high enough quality lines that you can just go through it. It's also, but they probably have put a lot of time in art. Like getting fast like that, aside from doing specific exercises, also just requires time. I haven't done it a lot. I mean, there are some things that I can draw much faster now than I used to be able to draw it. Like, I'm still not very fast, especially compared to other artists. I don't think I'll ever be fast. It's just not. Doesn't suit me. But I could draw like a basic water drop or something relatively fast. Like I used to take very long to get something that looked nice, and now I know what to do to create it. Sorry for that. I have food now. I might sometimes mute myself if I take a bite so you guys don't have to hear me eat. Yeah, but I'll just eat whilst streaming, because it'd be way too early to stop. Yeah, if you see that I stopped moving my pen for some reason, then you know I'm probably eating or adjusting something somewhere. I do not want to move that. That would be not good. There. Keep misclicking. It's not ideal. occasionally checking if the mic muting and unmuting is working properly, because I know that my drawing program might interfere with the commands. It would be a bit awkward if I was talking here and you guys wouldn't be able to hear it, or the opposite, if I thought you guys couldn't hear me and you could. Yeah, I was checking if my mic mute was still correct. I saw there's still 71 of you guys. I was like, yeah, there's probably like 14 or something. There's a lot of you still hanging around. I hope that means you're enjoying yourselves. So, thanks. I am glad that you're hopefully enjoying this chill art stream. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Thank you. Thanks. That's really nice. I guess I'm doing something right. I'm also glad I figured out how to get nice background music. Though anyone listening back, default will not hear it because copyright issues thing. So I have a thing that'll basically live. It'll play music, but if you voice on this one. But if you listen it back whilst it isn't live, then all the music will be cut out. So for anyone possibly listening this back, that's very confused what I'm talking about whenever I mention music, and that's why. And that's currently just the safest way to make sure that there's no copyright shenanigans. I don't know if I'll keep doing that because my computer does not seem to be very fond of it. But I'm recording these also to put them on YouTube for anyone that wants to watch them back. Because I had a few people that were like, well, I'm not able to catch it, but I would really love to watch. So, Kaino, hello! Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. How are you doing today? Pretty good, just done with my lessons and chores. It's good to hear that you're doing okay. And yeah, chores. I cleaned my room today. Or well, cleaned the floor at least. I swear I do it multiple times a week, and every single time there's so much dust. It's like, where does this come from? Oh, you're learning Chinese? I didn't know that. Which dialect are you learning? Because there's like a bunch of Mandarin. Yeah, that makes sense. I have a Chinese friend who had to learn Mandarin from my parents, though her mother spoke a completely different dialect. I don't remember which one. It was tough because she also had regular school and everything. Hey, we're at 31 followers, just 90 more to get affiliate. That's not needed. Just have a good time and that's enough. If you enjoy your time here, then do follow if you feel like it. Someone is making something outside. One moment. Pardon for that. I don't need my entire room to smell like fry oil. Like, fried stuff is good, but the smell it leaves behind isn't great. Especially if it's your bedroom. It's not a nice smell for bedrooms. Affiliate means that I can get emotes and stuff like that. Yeah. Basically, if enough people follow me, then I can do new things, or I'm able to get new things that I couldn't previously get. Which includes emotes and people being able to give me money and subscribe and stuff, from what I've gathered. This is my first stream, so I'm not very Twitch savvy yet. But that's the gist of it, from what I understood. And having channel emotes would be pretty neat. Like, could make them on stream. Sorry for the brief pauses in me doing anything here and there. I'm quickly stuffing my face with food because it's lunchtime. How many of you here draw actually? Because there's quite a few of you here. What stuff do you guys like drawing when you do draw? Because we all have our own preferences. I know what some of you draw already, but just curious. I didn't quite hear that. The music is still a bit too loud, I think. Oh, it's the music loud. I did not realize that. Is this better? Or is this too soft now? Because I'm listening to it too, but of course now it's very silent. Wait, let me... I hope if I turn on monitoring that it won't double the amount of sound for you guys. Monitor and output. Oh, now it's just gone. Well, that doesn't work, clearly. Okay, how's this? Also, if I am too loud, like the mic's too loud, do let me know as well. This is fine, I think. Well, that's good to know. If anyone else is like, no, you should adjust this a bit, like make yourself less loud, make the music a little louder, let me know, then I'll try and adjust it as best as I can. Because, well, it works through sending the desktop audio. But what that means is that, well, you are hearing what I'm hearing, but apparently it's not the same volume. But I can't really check for it because monitoring the output works through desktop audio. So it's a bit of a difficult one, that. Oh, I did not mean to do that. In any case, now I hope the music is the right volume and you can properly hear me. I was asking how many of you guys draw, because there's quite a couple of you here. I mean, from some of you, I know the answer, but I'm just curious. How many of you draw, and what do you enjoy drawing when you do? Not me. Ah, that's fine. So a lot of things one can do. A lot of hobbies to choose from. May come as a shock for you, but I do draw sometimes. Yeah, kinda. How surprising that the person in my art server does art. Especially since I've known you for a couple years, it comes completely by surprise. Very shocking. Very silly jokes. Beware, or I might get sappy about the art server again. One moment, I'm gonna clean up my plates for lunch and I'll be right back. And we're back. Apologies for that. Well, hope you guys took the time to maybe grab some food yourselves or put some stuff away. Maybe get some water. Thank you. Glad to be back. I don't know how other streamers do it. Stream with so few breaks. Like, you need some water, like, from time to time, and toilet breaks, I'd imagine. And food breaks. Maybe once you level up as a streamer, you get skill points and needing less, like, breaks. Like, level up. Need have bigger bladder now. Gamer skills. Who knows? Maybe there's secrets. I mean, I consider myself a gamer. I game a lot. Too much, actually. Yeah, I guess I do not have that kind of bladder. At least, I mean, sometimes the game's just too good, but for art, when I need to concentrate on what I'm doing and like make smart decisions, it's hard to focus if you have to go. I mean, in games it's the same, though. Like, gotta think about what you're gonna do. It's hard if you've gotta go. Yeah, food and water and stuff. Gotta make sure you get them. It's no good if you skip out on that. What games do you play? I tend to prefer strategy, and I really like, or I seem to gravitate towards rogue likes and rogue lights. So currently I'm playing. Damn it, bot! I just want a game. I must you bother me with needs like sleep, thirst, and hunger. Yeah. I'm playing Noita. It's a rogue like permadeath and all that, and it's freaking tough. I suck at it. But it's very fun. I would recommend it if you like. It's pixel art style. It's randomly generated world, and every pixel is like can burn and be blown up and move, and there's a lot of physics going on. It's very fun. And as I said, it's quite tough. Like it's got a bit of a learning curve if you want to get good at it. I've also played Hades a lot. I've been playing it since early access. That's a phenomenal game. That's a roguelite in a sense. Though honestly, for me it never feels like I'm like when I played it. It's like, well, okay, just another run. It's a very kind roguelite. At least for me, it always felt pretty okay. I guess I've done like over 100 runs by now, so eventually I caught up to like my highest heat was something like 25, 26. So yeah. I actually haven't fully finished it, like the story, now it's out. Because I played it so much, I was like, well, what else do I do? And eventually other games came along, so I still have to go back and actually play the story till end. I also recently haven't finished that either. I have bad habits. I only beat Hades 3 times in 0 heat. Oh man, I mean, if that's what you want to do, like, go for it. Like, high heats are fun, but if it's not for you, if you don't like the torture, don't do it. I mean, you get pretty used to it, some aspects of it, like the more difficult bosses. I beat it 10 times and got the ending. Yeah, I've been there too. But I haven't played till the end, and let's keep it at that. I don't want to spoil anyone. It was fun, yeah. But yeah, I've done a lot of runs. I like it, just haven't been playing it recently. Yes, same here. I mean, sometimes you just gotta switch it up. I mean, that's the same I had with Persona. I've been wanting to play Persona forever, so when Persona 4 was on sale on Steam, I was like, you know, it's on the desktop now, I can access it, it's on sale, I'm gonna do it. And I've had a ton of fun, but it's a long game. It's a very long game. And the completionist full I usually spend a lot of time in dungeons trying to get enough materials to like sell again. But that made the dungeon an absolute drag, so eventually I was like, oh, dungeon time again. I don't want to go. So I took a little break, played Noita instead, which I also got on the sale not too long ago, hence the switching. I also really like stealth games, but puzzle stealth specifically. Like my favorite game ever, still to this day, I think, is Mark of the Ninja. I had so much fun with that game. I actually bought it on a different account because in first account I was completely honest. I was like, yeah, no, I'm below 18, and so like, nope, you can't play this game. So then I was like, well, but I wanna play it. So we made an entirely separate account, bought it on there. I played it on there, like I finished it in a freaking weekend. And then later when it was on sale again and I was older and I wanted it on my like actual account, my Steam account, I bought it again with the expansion because I was like, you know what, I love this game so much, have my money. If any game deserves this amount of money, this is the one. So I bought it twice, the one like full version expansion, and I love the game. I find it so fun to play. It is a bit difficult though, like sometimes you want to do one thing and it doesn't do it like you want, and you screw up in your scene and you have to reload. Like, it has its flaws. Another game I really like from the same developer, Clay, is Invisible Ink, which is also a stealth game, and Invisible Ink is turn-based stealth game, and I've played that game so much. It's so fun, especially when you fuck up and you're like, oh god, everything is going wrong, and then somehow you manage to pull through and you leave the level with all of your team members, even though you've got shot and had to drag one out bleeding. Somehow you made it out. Like, that's the funnest. Oh god, I have to shoot all the guys searching for me, and if they find me, I'm screwed and it's game over. Those situations that seem completely impossible and then you somehow manage to get through are the most fun. But it's a roguelite too. If you lose, like you lose, it is gone. So you need to know when to pull out. Like sometimes it's better to just leave one of your people behind and fight for another day if you have a good run going. But yeah, I played many runs through that. I'm not by any means like really good at it. Like there's the highest level of difficulty, the way the game was originally meant to be played, or originally designed to be played, which when you scan a room, it only shows you danger zones if you actually have found the source of the danger. So if an area is in the view of a camera, you won't see it unless you have found the camera, which makes the game incredibly difficult. You also don't have any turnbacks, though I have played on higher difficulties with no redos, because on the normal difficulty you get, I believe, 3 redos over the entire game, where you can be like, okay, wait, this completely went wrong, pull me a turn back, because sometimes the game can get pretty unexpected, so that would feel unfair. You can plan ahead for unexpected things, but not being able to see danger zones if you can't locate the source is, in that game, like, it's good that they changed that they made that an optional extra difficulty, because otherwise the game wouldn't be fun to play. Like, I've tried it, and you need a very specific team build and a very specific strategy and a ridiculous amount of luck and skill to pull that off. Yeah. I don't really like action stealth. I like the stealth where I'm given the time to think before I do anything, like the puzzle stealth. I like playing challenging games like Dark Souls and Hollow Knight. I do like a good challenge myself, but I I'm not very nimble. Like, my motor control is eh. So games whose challenge is partly determined by being really good at the movement in the game or having a good reaction time, I generally aren't into a lot, because no matter how much time I sink into it, I usually can't get it. I'm not by any means bad, after all. I play Hades on very high difficulties, like the speed up difficult and everything, so I can do it. It's just often it's a turn off for me when it's like very high dexterity is required. I just don't have that. And with a lot of time I could probably get up to those levels in a game, but I play games for fun. And I don't have that kind of time to dedicate to one single game, usually. Or anymore, at least. So that's why I prefer my difficulty. Sadness, because especially Hollow Knight is such a pretty game and it influenced me a lot. Hollow Knight I have considered picking up. I do think I might be able to do that, but Dark Souls I don't think is suited for me. Like, you need to put time into that game to be good at it, from what I've heard, and that's time I do not have if I also want to do art and play other games, and I've got a bunch of stuff. So no Dark Souls for me. Hollow Knight, the only reason I haven't picked it up is because it's a long game, and well, if I start a game I usually kind of disappear for a while. That's why I don't often buy myself new games, because I know that I have, like, I'm an all of nothing person. It's either all games or no games. I'm not good at balancing that, because I'm like, just a little more, and before I know, I've spent the entire day playing games. So yeah, I know myself well enough not to start games especially long games. Have you played Darkest Dungeon? I have. I have not finished it. I'm not bad at it, but I'm not good either. I don't know, I guess I just find it difficult to have a good team composition and to know what to prioritize. I have not, because what I have heard, it's more tedious than hard. Yeah, I don't know. A lot changed. I got into Darkest Dungeons pretty early. Not early access, but it's mostly just stressful. Yeah, that definitely. I mean, the art style is neat, and the lore and the vibe it's going on is neat, but it is yeah, it's difficult to manage. It's because it's very difficult to know what to prioritize. I found it's like, okay, but what stuff do I keep when I dungeon delve? How do I build up my party? The problem is that finding good synergies is difficult, and dungeons take pretty long, even short ones, like actual time. Which means that there isn't much wiggle room for trying things out, because if you do equip your party well, then you lose those resources if you lose your party. Even if you pull out your party in time, they will become very stressed, and it will take time for them to lose that stress and to be healed. And at any time, if you have shitty luck, and even if you come back from a dungeon well and one of your party members gains like a bad trait, then you have to deal with that, because if you just like gamble on it and be like, well, it's not too bad and I need them to keep going, it might lock in, or even worse, you have it's something that I had happen, a quote-unquote good trade that I didn't want to lock in was locked in because of a curio I opened, which I didn't know could happen. You can obviously choose not to open curios, but I always use items for that, and open ones which I know have a very high chance of a good outcome. I just didn't know the good outcome could be, hey, I belt scrounger, which isn't bad, but if you aren't making a team specifically for that area, you don't want that trade locked in. So yeah. And the more difficult bosses and stuff, like eventually it's just I can never keep playing long enough, like commit to completely finishing a run, because eventually I just get bored of the grind, and I'm pretty good at grinding. I have played some very grindy games. Yeah, I haven't even gotten to the darkest dungeon. It's just to get the right trinkets and equipment, you have to have luck for them to appear, and you have to have space to carry them back, and you don't have a lot of space. And yeah, it's with enough time you can prepare more than enough that it definitely wouldn't be easy still, but it isn't impossible to beat. The problem is the fact that it takes so much time for me. That's why I eventually, I never finish a full run. It isn't even so much leveling up the heroes. It's just getting all the equipment needed and the right heroes needed, and it's a lot of looking things up also. But it's what makes it difficult is also a lot of builds people like are builds that are now made with expansions that I don't have. And I'm not gonna buy an expansion for a game if I aren't that into the game. Like, I'd want to first finish the vanilla game before I start adding expansions. It physically hurts one of the characters you spent so long to level up dice as some BS. Yeah, that sucks. You have to play very safe in Darkest Dungeon, and even then sometimes some BS pulls up, and even if you pull out, you might not survive. Like, I had at some point I had a long run with a party and my torches ran out. And it was stupid because very early on in the dungeon there were a lot of torches we found, but my inventory was full. Or my inventory, like, I was like, okay, we're finding a ton of torches, but I'd rather have this stuff. And at the end, well, I had a lot of treasure, but I had to backtrack a bit, and usually a short bit is fine, but a shulker popped up, and you can't run away from those, or at least running away takes a while. It wasn't my very high level party, but it was a party that I had pretty decent trinkets on, and even once I got torches lit up, trying to pass by that area, the shulker just came again. I didn't know that would happen. And if your party isn't equipped to deal with it, it just wrecks you. So that was like... Yeah, you can't power level low level on something, but if you lose a character, you have to grind for another 5 hours. Yeah, there is a trick for that. If you very quickly switch from a high level to low level dungeon, you can trick your higher level mercs into going into the lower level dungeon. I use that trick a lot because very often I just didn't have the right parties to go into those lower level dungeons. Like, you just either don't have the right levels, you don't have the right members that have a decent enough like synergy, because that's important too. You need your party to have synergy so very badly if you want them to have any success in the higher levels. But if you don't get those party members from the coach, or yeah, to make the game less grindy, you have to glitch that. Yeah, basically. But if you don't get the right party members from the coach, or if you get the right party members but they have some very awful bad traits that makes it really impossible to work with them, or one of your good members got afflicted with a bad trait when they came back from the dungeon and you really ought to remove that one first before you send them back in, well, then you've got an incomplete team and you gotta send someone in with them. But if your team does not have the synergy, you can't just send in anyone in Darkest Dungeon, because it's just that kind of game. You need to have a good composition, but it also makes it very difficult to get the right members. Like, even if you set up your stagecoach early and get a lot of places for party members, it's still, I found it incredibly difficult, at least, to have the right heroes available. And then, yeah, once you get to the higher level stuff, it's like balancing the stuff you take with you, but the stuff you find is also very difficult, because all you need a certain amount of torches and food, and you only have very limited inventory space, so you can't really keep anything you find for the most part of the dungeon, or at least the first part, because you still have too much stuff that you need to survive. But you can't backtrack, or at least backtracking isn't safe, because new monsters will spawn in and they'll get a bunch of stress, and also the moments hunger checks come are very random. Like, you could have no hunger checks for the entire freaking dungeon and be like, well, what do I need this food for? And then at the very end get like 3 right after each other and have your party completely stressed out, which doesn't make any sense if they've just eaten. Like, that's I found very frustrating, that you, like, a lot of things in Darkest Dungeon you can plan ahead for, you can strategize for. So to have something that is something you can't really strategize for, except, okay, just make sure you always have food in your inventory, whilst a large part of the game's inventory management whilst you're in the dungeon is really annoying, because you can't manage something if you cannot strategize around it. Like, if there's only one strategy, then it isn't really a, like, you can't make informed decisions if the only decision is, I'm gonna gamble I won't get a hunger check. There is a certain logic behind it, but if you want to win a game and you're gonna look into the logic of the code, then I don't think you're doing it right. So yeah, that's something I was very frustrated with. Because a lot of people do complain about the RNG too, but I don't like it. It can suck a lot, but it can also be mitigated. You can play around it. I'd say that's the least, like, it can be really annoying, but with the right party composition, and write items with you, a lot of the worst things that can be done to you, you can reasonably counter. So I'm. But if you go in and try and play it like any other dungeon crawler, yeah, the RNG is not nice. And you will get your ass handed to you if you try and play it like any other dungeon crawler. It's not meant to be played like that. But it is very hard to figure out how to play it on your own. Like, I needed to look up a lot of tutorials. Though I'm used to that, like a lot of rogue lights and strategy games like that, they have a bit of a difficult learning curve. So I don't really mind having to look things up online and on Wikipedias. Though some will argue that's bad game design. The only one I didn't need to do that for, like what comes to mind recently in terms of roguelites, is Hades. That's just, for one, it was still in early access when I started playing, so good strategies and stuff. Like there wasn't much out there. And also it's a lot more intuitive to try things out on your own. The only thing that fumbled me was the fishing. Fishing game, at least in early access, was not explained well. When it got first introduced. I also have like, but that was from when I very first got Steam. I got a ridiculous amount of hours in Crusader Kings 2. Like hundreds of hours. It was one of the first games I had. I'm not good at that. I don't think I played too slow or something, or at least I've never gone very long with a run. I eventually kinda, after a few generations, got bored of it. It's so overwhelming. Crusader Kings, yeah. There's a lot going on, even in just the vanilla. For ages I wanted to get the expansions because they seemed like a lot of fun, but if you just get them all, you'd spend like hundreds and hundreds of euros on the full thing, and that was just not worth it for me. But eventually, when 3 came out and there were a lot of tracks, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna try them out, see if the expansions are worth it, and if I really like them, then I'll pay for them legitimately. But it's just, yeah, it was fun for a bit. They do add some good stuff, but that does also feel a bit cheaty. It feels like, hey, some of this stuff is actually just needed in the base game to make it fun. And yeah, it does have a very tough learning curve, and I would say I'm still basically a beginner. Like, I know some stuff. I've been able to get some pretty big empires, like done the Crusades and stuff with William the Bastard and his bloodline, and got like won and got the Holy Lands and things like that. It's just the long-term managing that I still have no clue how to do that well, because all the kids you get are complete idiots. Like, I set up my daughter to marry the future king of Scotland, and I won Jerusalem and she was my beneficiary, so she got that, so she got out of my house. And what does the idiot do? She has a freaking an affair which cancels the betrothal, which would have been a very, very strong ally to have. Like, my goodness, lady, if you just waited 2 more years. But no. And because you can't control your kids when they're out of the house, they do really stupid stuff. And you can't use your influence anymore to easily betroth them, but if you keep them in the house, then they get annoyed, and also your prestige takes a hit. I usually just, like, take the hit. Like, I don't land them until I really have to, because of their idiotic decisions. But it's pain. Also, murder plots. It's like, it's very hard to get some stuff done, and then the murder plots, no matter what you do, there always seems to be someone that gets drunk and then informs everyone about you, even if you, like, I hand select the people I plot with, because, okay, I want to avoid any drunkards getting in, I want to avoid anyone with low intrigue getting in and possibly ruining it, and I made sure my own king had high intrigue, and still, like, it just never works. Like, managing the social aspects is really a pain. Maybe there's a better way, maybe there's tricks I don't know about that could very well be the case, but it's just politics suck, evening game, yeah. Oh, or I think the thing that made me quit that run, or maybe like, okay, I need a break, and then I just didn't come back, was when basically in the run where I was like, okay, you know what, because what happened was in the first crusade I had a beneficiary, and that was my daughter that fucked up. I believe. And then in the second crusade I was like, you know what, no beneficiary, we're gonna keep it for ourselves, even if, like, the Pope is freaking pissed with it. And we won, and I got to keep it. Or was that a different one? No, I think that was a different. In any case, as the King of England, I got the Holy Land and I got to keep it. But then, of course, everyone in that area was pissed. Was like, you know what, we won't stand for this. So they created another holy war in retaliation to try and take it back. Well, all of the Muslim kingdoms, of course, joined in. Now, I had a lot of allies joining in, but they didn't cross the freaking seas. They just were standing there, not getting on boats. Like, ending up with just armies that didn't help me at all. One person went overland and crossed the freaking Alps and tried to reach them that way, and of course they, like, I'd won the war, I'd hired mercenaries and stuff, and I eventually defeated them, and once they finally started to arrive, it was all over, and the war took years, because a lot of armies and a lot of people gathering. But it was really annoying because they were just standing around, not doing anything, not helping. So it happened twice. The first time I wasn't prepared for it and I lost a lot of land, and I couldn't start another war because now they were out of my diplomatic zone. They're like, no, you can't. Like, freaking be like, hey, that land is mine, give it back, because they're too far away now, even though I still had a claim on it. Eventually, through a lot of shenanigans, it got in my diplomatic zone, and I could be like, hey, I have a claim on that land, give it back, and start another war, and win it back. And then from that point on, I was constantly defending against very mad Muslims. They were like, hey, screw you. Which is fair enough. But yeah, it's one day I is supposed to help you, it suddenly flounders about, and you, like, I looked it up, can I get AI armies on my boats and bring them over? Because I did have enough boats for everyone, but you couldn't. And something about the passing, just apparently, like, they were fine finding their way to the Holy Land in the Crusades, but apparently when it's not an official Crusades, they suddenly forget that boats are a thing, and you need those to cross over water. So yeah. I also usually, in an attempt to get decent people in my court and decent people to hold good positions, and try and find people with good stats and like high intelligence all over the world, and invite them and just have them marry my court and be like, okay, yes, create smart children, please. And that's a pain all in its own. I suppose I wouldn't have to do that, but it's like, if you want decent courtiers, you're gonna kind of need to micromanage that. Yeah, basically, it's just hooking people up, hoping they get smart kids, and I can raise those kids as my culture, so they like me more, and I can use them as teachers for royals in like my lands. Because royals get pissed if you give them a smart teacher, but if the teacher isn't their own culture, because then they might freaking convert the child to their own culture. It's like, it's annoying, because children never flip culture when you want them to. Like when you're like, okay, please become my culture, so you'll not for no reason at all be very miffed at me constantly, and it doesn't. And then the one time you're like, okay, well, children never freaking change their culture, so just study under this smart person and become smart. And then they're like, well, now I'm Greek. It's like, no. Stop it. And then the parents are mad at you because you turned their child Greek. Also trying to... They're going through phases. Shake my head now. They're staying that way. That was censored, I know. We do have the bot sensor on here. It's very mild, on slow settings. But it's still brand sometimes like, you know, we don't say that here. But it does that for the weirdest words occasionally. Question mark question. Maybe you meant to put in 3 dots, but I doubt not. Yeah, it happens often that it finds non-offensive things offensive. Like I remember in one chat, apparently it centered square, like the word square. Oh, you tried to send a clip. Links are turned off because we had a problem with bots. So you can't send links in the chat. It will automatically censor that. Apologies. You can still whisper them to people if you want to share it with someone specific. But yeah, no links because bots. I have to rely on the automatic. It was the clip where Luna says create smart children. Oh dear. I hadn't thought about how I can now be clipped and stuff I say can be completely taken out of context. Well, that's now on the internet. Should I delete? No, go right ahead. I'm sure it'll be fine. And it was quite a funny moment. I mean, it's a bit of a weird thing, but I don't think it's a bad thing to say. Can I send it in the server? Sure, go ahead.
dat is ook een stofzuiger.
Not sure how much you guys heard of that. I think I'm muted in time. Sometimes people come and ask me stuff, which is fine. This little light blob is gonna be very difficult to recreate. For one, it's very pixelated because, well, it just didn't render at a higher quality than the software I use. And there's only so much you can do when your reference is not very detailed or, well, very pixelated. I mean, that looks pretty close. This might actually be a good moment to call it quits for today. Made quite a bit progress. We only need to do this like on the outer side, and then we can start doing the inner side, and then we'll start doing the rim, and well, we still got a bit to go basically, but we made good progress, I think. And we've been going for a few hours, so how about reround things down and go look for some place to raid. Let's go here. Any ending thoughts whilst I start looking for something someone suitable to raid? Unless you guys would really love me to continue a little bit longer, I could, but oh dang, this freaking song is groovy. Dang, this grooves.
So the waterman does get a feature, yeah. Hey, what if I draw this similar pose too? So creative. Ah. I actually don't want that kind of pose. I actually want. Oh shoot. I want to feature my bahubers, so I want a more frontal pose.
I think this person is good. Yeah. Let's go with this person.
Sort of above you.
was fun having you all, and I hope you had fun here too. When we go raid, please be nice and be kind, and I'll be in there for a little bit too, saying hi to everyone. See you all next time. I enjoyed this world, and I hope you did as well. Till next time. I'm bad at endings.